Pass the poutine.
Pass the poutine.
Fries, cheese curds, and chicken gravy.
Pass the poutine.
Hi everyone, my name is Nina and this is Pass the Poutine, a podcast about Canadian culture from the perspective of an Asian Canadian. This episode is going to be about what's it like growing up in Canada as an Asian woman versus a white woman. Today we have Brady, who is a...
blue-eyed, white-skinned woman.
Who is?
Straight.
Okay, great. Brady.
A white woman.
A white woman. Ooh, I am an Asian woman. You are a white woman.
True.
I was born in Canada.
I was born in Thunder Bay, Ontario, so
Wow,
Canada.
nice. Okay, so today we are going to talk about the differences growing up as a white Canadian woman versus an Asian Canadian woman.
Yes.
It might not be different at all. Like maybe your mom also went to the grocery store in Chinatown and bought,
she made me pho.
every single day.
Yeah, every day.
Do you eat chicken feet as well?
No, I have to say no.
Okay, so speaking of food, what kind of food did you grow up eating at home?
So when I was really young, I was super into vegetables. So my mom would just pack me little snacks of fresh cut cucumbers, carrots, and dips.
Really?
Yeah. No,
Actually?
I was really into, vegetables as a kid. Not ever really a big meat eater. I remember a lot of cucumber sandwiches. I remember that.
Ooh.
But that was when I was quite small. I also remember the macaroni with chopped up wieners, mac and cheese with wieners inside of that, that's a pretty classic, poor ass white family.
Like craft dinner?
Yeah, craft dinner.
Okay.
Craft dinner with chopped up hot dogs.
It's
little hot dog discs.
It's not Canadian unless it's KD.
Yeah, you're right.
It has to be KD.
It's gotta be KD. So there was that, and then hamburger helper. I remember a point as well when I was living in Ontario, and we were. Oh man, I have so many stories about my poor upbringing.
I was just gonna say, did you grow up in a shelter?
No.
Did your mom cook?
Oh my god, my mom hates cooking.
Oh, okay.
My grandma. I lived with my mom and my grandma for quite some time as well. My grandma loves Italian food. She cooks pasta. That's her thing, and not even very well, if I'm being honest. She doesn't. She just loves pasta. So I grew up at different points in my life eating different things. I grew up on a lot of pasta. When I was with my mom, it was hamburger helper. That was the thing. I remember being, first of all, so broke that my stepdad went out and robbed community gardens.
Oh my god.
Of what he thought was lettuce, but ended up bringing home a shitload of cabbage.
I'm not gonna lie, that kind of sounds like something an Asian parent would do. Yeah.
Well, I remember eating cabbage sandwiches because we just ended up with so much cabbage accidentally that we thought was lettuce. It's hard to rob a farm at night, okay? Cabbage looks like lettuce.
You guys should have learned how to make kimchi. That
would have been a good idea,
right?
But we were white. Give us a break.
That's true. If your dad was Korean, oh my god, yeah. Kimchi all the time.
Well, the other half of that was that my stepdad's family was really big into hunting. And so there was a time where we had a lot of moose meat.
I was gonna say, also deer probably.
It was moose, exclusively
really?
Moose.
Okay, so I think deer is more like Alberta.
It was just, maybe. Okay. But in this particular moment of my life where we just had moose sausage, and that was, I lived off of moose sausage for a while, and I hated it because it was terrible. It was I think I've heard that moose is good if it's cooked right, but
they say that about all gaming meat,
I feel
right?
like they do,
yeah.
And it was not good. It was super grainy and it was sausage, you know what I mean? It was crap, and I remember just literally starving myself because I didn't want to eat the fucking moose anymore for the fifth night in a row, you know what I mean?
Did your parents also make moose jerky? I feel like that would taste really
No, like I said, it was exclusively moose sausage.
The sausage?
It was just, I think his dad had a sausage making thing. And so it was just here, have 200 moose sausages.
Oh my god.
Keep that in your deep freeze.
Oh my god.
So that was dinner every night.
In
different ways, sometimes it's in spaghetti, and I'd be what's up with the moose? Or sorry, what's up with the sausage? It tastes funny. Is this beef? Yeah. Your mom tries to lie to you, and you're like, why does it taste like sand?
The higher she says yeah, the more you're like, that's definitely
you're like, oh, that's
moose.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be the moose.
You're so white. Your family is so white.
Does it sound white?
Well, you're
probably
hunting, right? Like,
yeah.
Like,
well, that was like, yeah. I mean, my actual immediate family, not much hunters.
Mm-hmm.
I do remember one time my dad fed me rabbit stew. I remember that because
that's kind of French, right?
Maybe. Well, actually, he was living on not a farm, but like a property. He was living on acreage, I guess you could say, renting from there. And his landlords were Italian, and they grew rabbits to eat. Ooh. And so he fed me rabbit stew, and he was like, "Do you like it?" And I'm like, "What is it?" And he's like, "Do you like it?" It's chicken.
Yeah.
But yeah, my dad tricked me into eating rabbit that one time after he like introduced me to the rabbit that he then later fed to me. Yeah, like it's not like my dad was a hunter or anything. It was just like my stepdad's family was really big into hunting, and so at the time I was kind of there was about a year where I was fed a lot of game meat that I wasn't really into because, like I said, I love vegetables.
Right.
I'm also vegan, so like
yeah, like we're not gonna talk about the veganness.
Yeah. But just a side note.
Yeah. But yeah, like your family grew up very different from my family. Like, I'm Asian,
Tell me about the pho.
We don't hunt. Like we get our meat like packaged in a little like pink tray at the grocery store.
Did you grow up getting the like buying the crab and the fish from the tanks in the grocery market?
Oh, homegirl, my family went out to the sea and like hunted the guida. Like I remember doing that.
Guida? Is that like a clam?
It's like that elephant clam.
Yeah, right.
That like you know what I'm talking about. So like my family would actually go to like I think White Rock or something, and then like hunt it, and it's like
that's pretty extra.
It's totally illegal, by the way.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's super illegal. Like I think you need a license, and like of course they didn't have a license, but I remember like
the one where it makes a little hole in the sand.
Yeah,
and then you have to like dig and
and then
I used to catch that shit all the time.
Oh my god, and it moves so fast.
Just fun, but yeah. Okay,
it's just the fun, but you're
just for fun. And then I let him go and be like, there you go.
Yeah, like when the cops came, you're like, oh my god, just go back. Yeah, we just wanted to touch it and take a photo. Yeah, so like we grew up eating just like super traditional Vietnamese food, like pho. And then like I remember my dad would just take me to the grocery store like in Chinatown, and like to me that was normal. And then
was that like a lot of like chickens hanging from a wire?
Oh my god,
like dead animals.
Were you there? Yeah, it was 100.
I've seen pictures.
It was 100% that. Okay, like, and they're not just hanging; they're like
by their feet or by their necks.
Well, both. And then they're like, mostly their neck.
Just want to clarify.
And then they're like fully deep fried. So
right,
they're like fully deep fried, hanging by their neck, and you'd be like, I want just half of that. Yeah. Like I just
cut that one in half.
Cut it in half.
Give me the brains.
Pretty much, right? So I grew up with a lot of stuff like that.
Or the feet.
Oh my god, the chicken feet. That stuff is like real
delicacy.
Good.
Yeah.
Dim sum, chicken feet.
I remember actually at a last job. I'm not sure what her background was, but there was an Asian lady, and she came in one day with just whole chicken feet and ate them at the lunch room table.
What?
And I was like, this is an interesting choice.
She brought it to work.
Yeah, she ate chicken feet
in front of
a bunch of white people.
Oh my god.
And Asian people.
Oh my god.
But it was definitely an interesting choice.
That is my nightmare. That is like my nightmare, to eat like chicken feet in front of a bunch of white people.
In a room full of white people.
That is my literal nightmare. Just white people like glaring at me, being like, oh, "Are you eating?"
It's just such
it's an odd choice.
Yeah, not that it's odd. I mean, it's odd because I'm white and I didn't grow up watching people eat chicken feet. But I'm also like, honestly, it's not. I don't think that it's any different from eating any other part of an animal.
Well,
but it's just it's different to see and be like, that is a whole part of an animal that I can clearly see was part of an animal. Because you see, us whites, we like to pretend that our meat isn't actually from an animal. So
right.
We just like to see the package, and we don't want to think about how it has a head or a face or any feet at all.
I feel like this is like the vegan Brady talking, not the white Brady talking.
I don't know. I feel like it maybe is the white Brady talking, because it's kind of hard for, I don't know. I think that that's a cultural thing, just being divorced from the fact that we're eating animals. Like, we don't want to think about it.
Right.
You know? Because we don't, honestly, a lot of the time we don't, like, make...
This is not a vegan podcast.
No, it's true.
It's
true.
like a podcast about eating pho and vegetables.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Lots of it.
Were you ever embarrassed by the lunches you brought to school? Like, what lunches did you eat at school when you were growing up?
Oh, like, what age?
I don't know, let's say even...
Like, high school?
High school,
I didn't
middle school?
Honestly, I didn't really eat a lot of food in high school. I was too broke, man. I didn't bring lunches to high school.
Didn't you have family?
I just mooched food, man.
You were that kid that was like, hey...
A little bit. Or I just
what
starved.
You got there?
Or I just starved. Pizza Pockets?
Let's
talk about that.
Oh, yeah. Pizza Pockets were so good when I was young. And I had them recently as an adult, and that was a big mistake. Because, like, when they're young, when you're young, food tastes so good. Food tastes so good because you're a stupid kid that has no palate, right? And then when you have it as an adult, you're like, I was a monster as a child. Like, how did I eat this?
Sugary, doughy cheesiness.
Like, what was it? Bagel bites? Bagel bites were, like, my favorite.
Bagel bites.
I don't know if you've had those.
Probably at some point.
You've probably had them because if you had Katie, like your mom shopped
Remember,
in like the same
stuff?
section. My mom did.
Maybe you don't remember hot stuff.
No,
maybe that's a white thing.
Okay, that sounds like really white. Like, I didn't know what pierogies were until I was in my late teens.
Yeah,
and I was like,
pierogies are awesome.
They're white people dumplings.
Yeah, that's a good way to explain it. I definitely have had my fair share of white people dumplings.
Yeah, they're not bad. Like, at first I was like, why? And then I was like, oh, okay, like I kind of get it. What was your relationship like growing up with your parents? Because I know white people tend to be like so much more communicative and expressive.
Yeah. Well, so my dad lives in Ontario, and I've lived in Ontario, Alberta, and then Calgary, and then out in BC. So I haven't spent a lot of time actually living in the same area as my dad. So our communication is like we're very close, you know, for two family members who live like on totally different sides of the country. So we talk a lot, but his communication style is a lot different from mine. I was a lot like my mom growing up, and my mom talked to me about everything. Like, nothing was off the table. Like, we talked about sex, we talked about drugs.
You talked about sex with your mom?
Absolutely.
Like, at what age?
Like, all the time.
Did she bring it up?
Yeah, like, she was, like, her policy was kind of, like, she would rather educate me and tell me about, like, everything and what to expect so that she knew that I would be safe and educated about it. So, like, yeah, she knew, like, when I lost my virginity. She knew
oh my God,
when I had my first kiss, when I had, like, a boyfriend, when I had a crush on somebody.
See,
like, we talked about masturbation. We talked about everything.
God, this is my nightmare.
Yeah. No, this is great.
Oh my God. Like, I think Asian parents just want to think their kids are virgins. Like, even after their kids
they're married
have kids,
and they have kids.
Right? Like, even after they have grandkids, they're like, oh yeah, but my daughter's still a virgin, you know? Like, she's not like that. No, like, because whenever...
My daughter's not a hussy.
Yeah, exactly. She's not one of those.
She, it was all in,
yeah.
We just put the egg in the tube and...
Right, you know, there's like there's an app for that now. Yeah. Man, because, like, all my Asian friends, we always talk about how our parents, like, they don't express any emotion except, like, anger and disappointment. Whereas I feel like white parents, they're, like...
Full of love.
I remember when... one of my classmates was talking on the phone with his dad, my white classmate, and he ended the phone call with, I love you, Dad. And it, like, blew my mind. I was like,
really?
What? I have never, ever heard those words, number one, from my parents.
Your parents have never said that they love you?
Never, ever. Are you kidding?
Not even one time?
I've heard my dad say, I'm going to smash your head and kill you way more times than... Like, basically, he's never said, I love you. Like, it's just not an Asian thing. Like, I talk to all my Asian friends. It's the same thing. They never say it. So, like, I feel like Asian parents, they express their love in different ways. So I feel like white parents are, like, they express it emotionally and they, like, communicate it. Okay. Whereas Asian parents, they just, like, throw money at you.
Throw money.
Yeah, they're
Shut
like...
the fuck up and throw money.
Exactly. They're like, take this money and stop being such a bad daughter.
Yeah.
Stop disappointing me. Stop pissing me off.
Take this money and get educated.
Yeah, take this money, go to the library, study. Like, it's not good. But did you have, like, hobbies growing up? Did your parents, like, force you to take any...
Oh, man. No, like, my parents didn't force me into sports. I wanted to get into music, but yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I didn't have like a lot of money. The money that I did have was kind of like more on my dad's side, and so I would have to like convince him that I was serious about something before he would ever like front for that. And so
did you
he
have
never
to write
like
a sheet being like,
No,
this is how I'm
no.
gonna, like a proposal, like,
Nothing
please
like-
give me the grant.
nothing like quite like that. Almost sometimes, but more just like I'd be like, Dad, like I want to get into piano lessons, and then it just like, yeah, that just wouldn't happen. And I mean, I don't
You
know.
wanted to take piano lessons.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, I had a keyboard growing up, and I just had no idea how to play it.
It just like
And so I
collected
wanted
dust.
I wanted to like learn how to play it, and I guess that's the thing,
That's
right?
so
A lot of
funny.
Asian families like force their kids to play piano and shit.
Oh my
right?
god, it's such a thing. Like my nephew,
Or violin.
Yeah, it's piano or violin. Like my nephew has been he's in piano lessons,
Yeah.
and he hates it. And when I came over to my brother's house, my brother's like, oh, like my son is taking a break from piano, and he screams. He's like, no, I quit piano. Like, he just hates it. So I find it so hilarious that you like.
Yeah, I wanted that.
You wanted piano lessons.
Yeah, or drums. That was the other thing. I think maybe
Okay, drums is a little bit white, I'm gonna say.
Yeah, well, that was always my, like, I mean, I don't know. I grew up with, like, all the white kids playing guitar, you know? And I was like, that's not really me. I'd rather play the drums or, like, yeah, piano. But, yeah, I think because I was interested in both, my dad thought that I was serious about neither of them rather than serious about both of them, which I easily could have been, I think. But, yeah, no, it was, like, I did some swimming, but it was, my mom kind of, like, let me... She wanted to get me into things. She was like, you should take skating. You should take karate. You should do
Karate?
this. Yeah, well, she was in karate.
Your mom took karate?
Yeah, she did. She won a
What?
trophy.
What?
Yeah, she won a competition or something.
Your mom's so progressive. Wow.
Yeah, well, and then, so she's not in karate anymore, obviously. But she ended up, asking me what I wanted to be in. And I don't know, I took swimming for a bit, and then, that kind of fell through because I don't know. I kind of lost interest in that.
Maybe your dad was right the whole
Yeah,
time.
he could have been, honestly.
He was
but-
like, I knew it. I fucking see you.
Yeah,
I
that
see
could
you,
have been
Brady.
it. But still to this day, I wish that I had learned piano when I was a kid. So I'm just fucking saying that it's not something that I am flighty about. I would have liked piano. That's all I'm saying.
Did you ever feel like a lot of pressure from your parents growing up?
From my dad.
For your dad?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of pressure?
You
Because I was going to say, like, through this whole thing, your dad sounds a little bit, like, Asian.
think so?
Yeah.
He's not. He's white.
Okay. Okay.
Blue-eyed, white-skinned male.
I'll have to look at a photo later.
Yeah. And he's just a very, like, responsible. I'm more like my dad now in a lot of ways. Like, very responsible. Like, you get a job, you work, you get a car, you drive, you get your license, you go to school and, like, fucking study and get A's and, And my mom was always more, like, oh, just do what you feel and, like,
Sounds
be
like
happy.
such a
and,
hippie.
Like, she's not, but, I mean, maybe a little bit.
Okay.
Maybe without meaning to be, But, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, my dad was a lot more serious and strict with me in a lot of ways.
Asian.
But, yeah, he was, yeah, there's definitely
Did you, like,
differences.
Did you feel pressure to get good grades when you were in school?
Yes and no.
So, like,
Yes from my dad, no from my mom. But
what would be, like, a decent report card from, like, for your dad, like, from you?
like my dad tried to throw money at me to get A's.
He was
like,
Asian.
I will give you $100 for every A that you get.
Your dad is so Asian. Is your dad my dad? Like, I'm so confused.
But that didn't really come around until my 12th year. It was like high school. He was like, you need to get good grades, and well, maybe my 11th. 11 or 12, it was like when the years mattered,
Right,
up until then.
right.
I had a strained relationship with school. I really hated it. I left in grade 11, actually.
You left school in grade 11?
Yeah, I have my high school. I just got it, like, alternatively, I guess.
That's how, like...
Which my dad did not like. He thought that I basically wouldn't get my high school, which I did, by the way. Still did. But, he didn't like the idea that I was leaving high school to get it in a different manner.
Because he's Asian, and that's, like, totally unacceptable.
Yeah, I mean, he came around, you know?
After you got your high school diploma?
I got it, and he was like, okay, I guess it did work, all right, fine. I guess she's happier this way, you know?
Oh my God.
Yeah, my mom, I mean, I struggled with school a lot. Not that I had like a learning problem or anything like that. It was more just, you know, like the social, like I didn't want to be there. I didn't like my teachers. I didn't like half of the people I was in school with. Like, I don't know, I just didn't fit in with that sort of social dynamic. So as soon as I went to a high school where I was like with older, you know, other adults trying to like get
other
their
people
education, it made
like
sense.
You,
yeah, other old ass souls.
Yeah, like because I know, like, my family started me off really young, like, with the bribes to get good grades. Like, I remember, like, being, like, in grade 5, and I had a science test coming up, and, like, when I was in grade 5, those, you know those shoes where, like, they had the rollerblades, like, hidden inside?
Yeah, Heelys. Wheelies?
Were they called wheelies?
I think they're Heelys.
I don't remember, but, like, they were, like, huge platforms.
Yes.
And they were
and there was a little wheel, and you could, like, skirt.
Yeah.
On your heel.
No, not just the one wheel. Like, I had the one where, like, it came out.
Oh, they flipped out.
Yeah, it was, like, 4 wheels.
Yes.
And looking back, that shit was so
I think
heavy.
Those were wheelies, and the other ones were Heelys.
Okay. Oh my God, we're old.
Something like that.
Yeah, and so I remember I really wanted them, and then my brothers and my dad were like, okay, if you get 100% on this science test, and I remember it was like a 60-question science test, and I was in grade 5.
Oh my
God.
God.
Like, we'll buy you the shoes.
Holy
so
crap.
You know, being like the Asian girl that I was, and I was like, I need these rollerblading shoes.
Yeah, I need these wheelies.
I need these wheelies so bad. I need to like carry these like 10-pound shoes on each foot, like as a 10-year-old. I studied so hard.
You're really strong calves.
Right? Maybe that's why my calves are so big. Oh my God, I have the answer.
Because you
now.
aced that science test.
I aced the science test. I got 100%.
Yeah, you did.
And I got my wheelie.
That's so funny.
Yeah,
that's quite the bribe.
No, they did that my whole life. Basically, they're like, if you get straight A's, we'll buy you this. So I didn't really get an allowance. My allowance was like, so instead of doing chores, really, which I still did, but they're like on top of chores, if you get good grades, well, like,
you're lucky that you did chores. That's how they would convince you, right? You're lucky that you get to live here for free and you have to do chores.
Right. So like growing up Asian, like your parents are never like, oh, I love you, how's school, honey? It was always just like, you know how hard I have to work to take care of your lazy ass, and like blah blah blah. Like I'm so tired all the time. So Asian parents never kind of like give their kids a break, I feel like. Or maybe it's like immigrant parents or just my parents, but it was just like a lot of like, I have to suffer so much. I like slept on a boat for 30 days in the middle of the ocean to like give you a life here.
That sounds like my mom. She was like, I was in labor for 3 days, which is true like, story, but to bring you into this world.
So like, you better. Yeah, so like 3 days on a boat, like, I mean, 3 days in labor, 30 days on a boat, like same.
Yeah. Basically the same thing.
Same struggle. And then same result. Like, my younger brother, he got straight A's in high school, and no joke, he brought home 1 B, and I think it was in like English or something.
Wow.
Because like
did
English,
your parents like slap him around?
Oh my God, my dad like jokingly got mad, but I guess my little brother's like sensitive and he took it very seriously. He's a Cancer. And he started crying, and I think after that my dad kind of like lightened up a little bit about because my brother did get straight A's, right, except that 1 B, so I guess it's not straight A's, but yeah, no, growing up like it was just so much pressure from school. And I remember after I graduated, I didn't get into a university because my grades in my last year in high school weren't that good, because I don't know, I was like just slacking off. So I got into a community college, and when my dad saw the envelope that had the community college's name on it, he got so mad. He started screaming at me, and I was just like, well, I didn't get into the universities, so like, what do you expect? So anyways, it was just a lot of pressure. I ended up graduating from that community college and then transferring to a university, so yeah, I was happy about that. But yeah, it's just like a lot of pressure. I feel like white parents are like a lot more understanding, and they kind of realize that like grades aren't like everything, and their child's happiness is almost more important.
Yeah, that was definitely my mom's approach. I think it was also like my dad's as well, I think that he maybe felt I was a little too sensitive and could have, like, I think if I lived under him, it would have been a lot more,
Asian.
A lot more like, you get good grades because, you know, that's just what you do. You're a kid, and what else are you doing? You don't have a job, so you're going to school and you're going to do well. And yeah, I don't know. I grew up, like, with some anxieties about school, so I think that was...
Was it, like, do you think it was... because, like, your dad gave you pressure, or?
No, I'd say it's more, my mom had, like, some PTSD, like, panic disorder stuff.
Okay, we're getting like, really deep.
Yeah, there was just, you know, it's just, like, her own anxieties projecting onto me that made me anxious about life. But anyway.
Okay.
I digress.
Normal parent stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean.
Wait, so your parents, like, never pressured you to go to, like, college or university after you graduated?
I mean, that was, like, the plan. But also, I think that my dad had some college money for me, or university money. Yeah. Like, he had a thing, and then he had a back surgery, and then kind of had to spend it on life, because you know what, life happens, and even if you save for college for your kids, you might have to use their college fund after your back surgery.
Right. Okay.
So,
people might be confused because, like, we're Canadian, and Canada is like, oh my god, free healthcare. Why did your dad have to pay for the back surgery then?
He didn't have to pay for the back surgery, but he wasn't working for a couple of years after that because he was recovering from that.
That totally makes sense. That would
be it.
Nice. So, like,
and then all of a sudden it was a struggle to put me through school after he had hounded me for my entire fucking life that I had to go to school. So
that's fun. Yeah. Did you move out after you... Did you move out after you graduated?
High school? Or, I mean, not directly after. But I moved out when I was, like, 20.
Yeah, so that's what I find interesting is because, like, all my Asian friends, you know, we're born and raised here. Our parents are immigrants. But we're, like, over 25 and we still live at home. And, like, to be honest, I don't really have plans to move out anytime soon.
I feel like that's just a BC thing because it's so fucking expensive out here,
that's
honestly.
True.
I don't know if it has anything to do with me being white or if it's just because I'm just a bit of a unicorn that way.
Okay, because I was going to say, like, it's how do people afford to live on their own, right?
They don't.
They don't. Yeah,
they don't.
You know what? It might be a BC thing. Like, I think maybe in other provinces or smaller cities,
or even like even on the island, I know people that live alone or
the island's cheaper.
Yeah,
because it's a retirement home and no one wants to go there. So
nobody wants to live there.
Exactly.
There's no jobs there. Anyway.
Yeah, there's no jobs there because it's unless you want to, like, take care of, like, old people.
Yeah.
But yeah. Dang. Like, so I am actually, like, not a doctor or a lawyer or anything, so, like, the family's, like, not super happy. I'm just, like, a normal person. Mm-hmm. But you have an interesting job.
Yeah.
Yeah, you work in, like, this very specific industry.
I do. I work in cannabis.
Yeah, cannabis. Mm-hmm. That's, like...
The legal cannabis industry.
That's weed, right?
Yeah,
that's
the marijuana.
Marijuana?
We don't call it marijuana anymore, but...
We call it marijuana?
Yeah, it's cannabis.
It's cannabis.
Yeah.
Ooh, because it's only
marijuana
legal.
Is, like, culturally not a thing that people say these days.
Is that true?
In the legal industry, yeah. There's some, like, cultural stuff there because marijuana was this, like, dangerous drug that the Hispanic people brought to, It was like the bad thing that the dark skinned people did.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, now it's cannabis, like, everybody smokes cannabis.
Right. The legal,
and it's medical and it's not it's not that dangerous thing that people are. It was just a little bit of a racist sort of thing.
Interesting.
You know what I mean?
I didn't know that. Like, because cannabis is only legal in 2 countries in the world.
Is that true? Canada and I guess parts of the States.
One of the Guays. Not the States.
Oh.
But it's one of the Guays. It's like Paraguay or Uruguay. I don't know which one it is, and I'm probably saying both countries wrong. But it's one of those. So there's only 2 countries in the entire world where it's legal.
Oh, hell yeah.
So wait, so how long have you... Okay, first of all, do your parents know you
Yes.
you grow weed?
Yes, they do.
How did they feel about that?
It was fine. Nobody cared, really.
Both of them were like, oh yeah, okay, cool, honey, like that.
Yeah, pretty much.
Man, white parents are so chill.
I mean, they knew that I smoked weed though, before that. So I think maybe it would have been a bit different if, like I said, I talked to my family about everything, so they knew that I smoked weed. And yeah, exactly, exactly. It was weird though. Like I'll say that when I was talking to my parents about like smoking weed, well, maybe not so much. My dad actually was more chill, I think, because he was like, "Oh, you're an adult now," because I started smoking weed. I was like 19 or 20. He's like, "You're an adult. You can do what you want. You can have fun." I'm like, "Okay, that's not really what I was expecting, but cool." My mom and my grandma were a little bit more like, but don't you like think you maybe smoke too much, and like I just want to know like what's best for you and blah blah blah. But having a job in cannabis, like they see that it's a good fit for me, I think.
I see. Okay.
So everybody's fine. Although I was telling, it was a bit of a strange experience for me, maybe verbalizing it to Marcus, is my boyfriend, who is quarter Japanese, to his very elderly Japanese grandmother, that I grow cannabis for a living.
You was told his Japanese grandma that you grow.
I didn't want to lie to her.
The marijuana.
Yeah.
I mean the cannabis.
Cannabis, yeah. I didn't want to lie to her. She asked me, she's like, "You work," because I guess he had told her that I worked in a greenhouse.
Right.
But he was growing flowers or something, but he wasn't too specific. And so when she asked me, I was like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You should have
told her you grew like orchids or like, what's the Japanese flower? Cherry blossom? She'd be like, oh yeah, I grew cherry blossom.
I don't know. Yeah. She's fine, honestly. She doesn't say anything about it to me, obviously. I'm sure it's fine. Mm-hmm. She's a very sweet lady. But yeah, I decided I was like, I'm gonna tell her, I'm gonna be honest and tell her that I grow cannabis medically for the government. Like I was very specific, like it's medical cannabis that I grow for the government.
None of that like
legal,
cheap, Vietnamese illegal.
I'm not out here slinging black market weed,
Did she like cover her mouth like a little old Japanese?
She was just like, oh, and then we didn't talk. She
was like, so desu ne? That means, oh really? Man, like, see, so again, I feel like that's such a like white Canadian. First of all, your parents reacted.
To be honest about.
Well, to be honest, and then your parents' reaction that was like, yeah, like you're old enough to number one partake if you want, and then work in the industry.
Like I said, there was a little bit of judgment, a little bit, because my mom doesn't smoke. Mm-hmm. My dad's a recovered alcoholic, so there's some stuff there, but he was like, no, it's fine, you're whatever, you don't have problems, you don't have like substance use problems, you're an adult, have fun, right? So I'm like, okay.
Damn, because Asian parents, like when you even say that word, they're like, the devil, right?
Yeah, well, there's definitely when they found out that I smoked weed every day.
You smoked it every day in their house? No, not in their house, because you moved out.
Yeah, I mean, there was a time when I was living with my mom and smoking weed. Mm-hmm. And she would tell me that it made her a little uncomfortable. Or not uncomfortable, but just that, maybe I shouldn't smoke so much. And honestly, like, okay, maybe being a daily user is kind of...
You're a pothead.
I don't smoke weed all day, every day. Okay. I'm like an evening user. Like, I'll come home after work, which I've spent the entire day sober, and it's like a beer in the evening or something. Like, I'll smoke a bit of weed and I'll go to bed. It's not like I'm high all day, every day. Yeah, but do I smoke weed...
Every day?
Every day. I mean, I'm not recently.
Right.
But at that time, I was smoking more weed.
Right.
For sure. And so, yeah, she was... kind of a little uncomfortable about that particular thing. But then I just have to be like, sorry, Mom, I'm an adult. I'm going to smoke weed if I want. And then she'd be like, okay.
I love it. That's such a, like, white mom reaction. Oh, okay, honey.
Okay,
like,
you do you.
Yeah, you do you. Like, I love you. I'm here to support you. Oh, my God. Asian parents, they would, like, bring that little Asian broom. You know what I'm talking about? You know what the Asian broom looks like?
No.
So there's, like, this little...
Show me the Asian broom.
Oh, my God. So I don't know if it's an Asian broom or if it's like
Chinese, like to beat your kids
or like
with?
a Vietnamese broom. Okay. But it's like this little broom, and like every single Asian or Vietnamese household has one of these. So they would just carry. It's like the.
Is it handheld or is it?
It's totally handheld, but just by one hand. Because a normal broom you use two hands, right? This one is just one hand. It's so much more efficient. Like you white people need to get on this.
Like I've seen not exactly like that, but smaller. There's, like, white versions of that.
Okay,
I would say. I don't know what they're called, but I've seen... And usually it has, like, a little loop, so you can hang it. It's like an antique thing. I think it was more like an old sort of white
Maybe
person
it was
thing.
British.
Yeah, maybe.
And then they like when they colonized like all of Asia, they brought it over, and then we switched the materials.
It's possible. Yeah, it's usually like a wooden handle and it's like this big.
Okay.
Yeah,
is that the broom part?
Like less than a foot long.
So that's okay.
And it's got like the broom, and then there's like a handle is the other half, and it's a wooden handle, and then there's like a little like steel loop or something like that, so you can hang it on a hook if you want.
Okay, that's like really small. This is like a lot.
Yeah, no, it's like a small little broom.
Okay.
I don't know what the purpose. I think it's for like
almost,
chimneys or like.
I was gonna say it's like something a dusting kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like a coarse broom. Anyway,
okay.
We're talking about this broom. Going down the rabbit hole in this broom thing.
Brady, what's it like being white
woman working in cannabis?
Well, just being a white woman in Canada.
Oh man, that's such a large question to unpack. What's it like being a white woman in Canada? I mean, I feel like it's pretty standard. I don't know. This is all I've known.
What is standard?
I mean, you do your life, man. I don't know. What are you looking for from me here?
No, nothing.
You go to school if you want, I guess. Your parents love you regardless.
Oh, your parents love you regardless.
Yeah,
oh my god.
I mean.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think I'm a single only child as well.
Ooh, yeah.
So there's that. I didn't have to compete for my parents' love.
Mm-hmm. And then you got all the white parents' love.
Yeah,
so that's like 10 Asian families.
I got like double Christmas, you know?
Like, oh my god, you did Christmas.
Celebrate Christmas?
No.
That's a thing too.
Yeah, like being Asian.
I grew up celebrating Christmas.
Yeah, like I would just hear about Christmas. Right, so in class we would
what's Santa?
Right? No, like
I don't think he exists.
We would watch the Christmas movies like in class when my teachers didn't want to teach, right? And then like they would give us candy canes, and then I'd go home and there'd be like no Christmas tree and like no presents.
Oh, do you do Thanksgiving?
No, my family started doing that like just recently.
Just to assimilate? Or?
Yeah, exactly. But like growing up, we never did Thanksgiving. And if we did, it wouldn't even be like turkey. It would just be like normal Asian food, but like maybe more fancy like Vietnamese food or something. Yeah, but you always did Christmas. Did you guys do like the leaving cookies and milk out for Santa Claus? You guys did that?
Absolutely.
Well, you're an only child, so it was only you doing that.
Yeah. Well, it was me and my mom usually.
Yeah. And then would you oh my god. Did your dad ever dress as Santa Claus to put the presents?
No, that was, see, I spent most Christmases with my mom.
Okay.
We were separated. So, I mean, I did go and see my dad for Christmas a few times. I feel like by then, I probably didn't believe in Santa anymore. Maybe. I don't know. I found it pretty young that Santa didn't exist. I feel like I was like 6.
Oh man, that
is young. Like I was smart. I was like, is Santa real? And my mom was like, yeah, Santa's real for sure. And then I was like, you would tell me, like, you told me never to lie to anybody ever. And my mom was like, holy shit. No. Yeah, so she was, I sussed it out of her basically. Like right before Christmas too. It was like 3 days before Christmas.
She like finally cracked and was like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
He's fake.
Yeah, I mean, she had a hard time lying to me, and I think I'd pretty much figured it out.
Okay, you did the
and
math.
I also I guilt tripped her.
How did you guilt trip your mom?
Yeah,
that's a white thing.
Well, yeah, because I was like, you wouldn't lie to me, right? Like you told me never to lie.
You mommed your mom.
Yeah, I reverse mommed her
at the age of 6.
Yeah, I was pretty young.
Okay,
but
I don't think I've ever mommed my mom, or
no?
I don't know anyone that's
reverse mommed.
No,
never mommed her back.
Yeah. And Christmas.
Yeah, we did the milk and cookies for Santa thing. You know, like every time like snow shifted on the roof, I was like convinced there were reindeer up there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, or like Santa was like coming down the chimney. Even when we didn't have a chimney, I'm like, where's he coming from? Is he coming through the vents? Like, how's Santa getting in? What happens if we don't have a chimney? Does he come through the window?
Is he cold? Like...
Yeah, well, all sorts of stuff, you know, curious. Like, which reindeer was that? Was it Rudolph? Was it Dasher? Was it Prancer?
Was it Vixen?
Yeah.
Did you ever watch?
Cupid?
I think I remember, and like, I'm not gonna lie, this is like low key still kind of my favorite. Okay, this is 100% my favorite Christmas movie still to this day.
Okay, wait, is it Jingle All the Way?
It is 100% Jingle All the Way. How did you know?
Because it's the best Christmas movie.
It is the best. It is like
Arnold Schwarzenegger is
oh
so
my
funny.
god, that whole movie is amazing.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I remember watching it as a kid.
My
and being
mom
like,
forced me to watch that so many times as a kid because it is the best Christmas
because
movie.
she loved it.
Yeah, because she loved it. And so
yeah.
even when it wasn't Christmas, she'd be like, do you want to watch Jingle All the Way? And I'm like, Mom, it's not even close to, it's July. She'd be like, but it's so funny. And then she'd be like, oh, fine, we'll watch something else. And then, but yeah, every Christmas it was like, Jingle All the Way.
Oh my
Because that was the
God.
only Christmas movie I think that we even fucking had.
Right. Well, it's the only one.
It's the only one that matters.
It's the only one anyone ever needs. It's the
best one.
It's
It
so,
is the best
it's
one.
so good. Like, I'm so excited to just go home and watch it again later. Like,
I'm gonna have to watch that this month for sure.
oh, it's so good. Like, I remember when I was in Korea and I was
and
teaching
Elf.
English.
Elf is a good movie.
Elf was good, but like nothing touches like Jingle All the Way. Like,
Right.
because I know, because it's so amazing. And then when I lived in Korea, I taught English to like elementary school students, and like it was near Christmas, and I'm like, oh my god, these kids are gonna get a treat. You know, these like rural Korean kids that like live in the countryside, have never like looked at a white person before. They're gonna watch the best Christmas movie that has ever existed.
You exposed them to Jingle All the Way.
Oh my god, the best thing was like somebody subtitled it in Korean.
That's excellent.
And I was like, this is fake.
Wait, can you speak Korean?
No.
Okay. How did you teach? Oh, I guess you taught English. So.
Yeah, I just taught English, and I
just
just
spoke
like,
English
and I
at
just
them
like,
and then hope that they
you know,
understood.
I gave them the teacher look, and they're like, oh, she mad. You know, it was a lot of that, you know. Yeah, but the Korean kids loved it. And this was like in 2015. So like this movie still holds to this day.
Oh,
To
definitely.
like young children. This is a fantastic movie.
It is. It's a really good one.
Yeah. Brady, I feel like we did have a lot of differences growing up. Like, you know, as an Asian Canadian woman, like, you know, the main ones would be the relationship with like your parents and like the pressure in school. Like basically, like, you know, okay, when I was young and I watched like Seventh Heaven and like all the other like Full House, like oh my god, I'd go home and I'm like, oh my god, Full House, and then I'd like watch Danny Tanner like talk to Michelle and like all his daughters and like talk to them through their emotions. I'm like, how come my dad is nothing like that dad? Like, and I would talk to my other Asian friends, and we'd be like, oh my god, we always wanted white parents, because our parents were the opposite of that, right? They were just like always angry and like, did you eat? Go to school. Did you study? And it's just like that. I was never, I love you, how are you? So, but you know, like growing up now, I kind of get it, because I kind of understand their struggle, right? Like being a kid, you're like, oh my god, why doesn't everyone treat me the way I want them to treat me? But you know, when you're older, you're like, oh wow, it's like totally different culture and hustle.
Definitely.
Right? And then yeah, you grow up and you just kind of like, you know, like I feel like no one really acts the way they want to act. It's just like their environment, right? And then you just like kind of deal with it.
Yeah,
But
totally.
yeah, but you know, we're all Canadian at the end of the day. A.
Oh, gosh.
Oh god. How often do you actually say A?
Oh, okay. So that's a funny story, because being from Ontario, that is a part of the accent.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. Like,
because in BC,
absolutely. It's not a thing
yeah,
really
we don't
so
say
much
it in
out
BC.
here.
You know what we say in BC? We say
right?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, right. We
Both
definitely
of
say
them.
right. Both of them. Yeah.
Right is also an East Coast thing.
Okay.
It can be both.
Okay.
But, well, it's, I know, right? Or,
Yeah.
I, like, yeah?
Yeah.
Like, there's definitely different kinds of affirmations, but, yeah. When I was in Ontario, that was definitely a part of my vocabulary. A lot more. But now that I've been out here for so long, I've lost it. But I do, like, when I go back to visit my dad, and then I come back, it's back. And then everything is A, and I'm like, shit, man, this is just... I've been hanging out with my dad too much.
You're like a cartoon.
Like, my dad talks like, oh, I know, right? Like, oh, I know, eh? Like, yeah, for sure. Oh, definitely. Oh, yeah.
Oh, so good.
Yeah,
I love it.
That's my dad. Yeah, he's very Ontario, very Canadian, very
Ontario,
yeah,
Canadian.
For sure. He's like a Canadian.
Are you
guy.
more Canadian if you're from Ontario? Because that's where the capital is.
Yes, I would say yes.
Yeah.
The only reason I say that is because I lived there, and I lived in Alberta.
Right.
And I mean, it's all Canada, but I feel like the stereotype of what Canadian is like Ontario, Quebec.
You know what? I agree because, like, I feel like BC isn't...
BC is like Oregon, California.
Okay.
It's West Coast.
100%.
And then there's Alberta, which is just like
whatever. It's like the Texas.
It's like Texas of Canada.
Yeah.
And then there's the farmland that nobody cares about.
Right.
And then there's Canada.
Right.
And then there's Canada's
and
East
then
Coast
there's, like,
islands.
French Canada.
Yeah, that's still Canada.
Okay.
That's Canada,
Okay.
you know. That's like asshole French Canadians, which I can say because I'm very French Canadian, by the way. I'm just going to say that. But then there's...
Then we have, like, the little islands.
Yeah, and then we've got our little islands, you know.
That, like, I'll probably never visit because it's so
well,
far
it's beautiful.
away. I keep hearing. Yeah.
But, yeah. Yeah, that's kind of... Those are, like, the maritime provinces or... Yeah, you know, they're kind of...
So I guess, like, the more East Coast you are, the more Canadian you are, hey?
A little bit. Yeah. Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
I think, in my opinion, yes.
Okay.
A little bit. Because,
More
stereotypically Canadian is what I will say.
Because, like, when I am outside of Canada, and when people hear me talk, they immediately think I'm from California.
Yeah.
Right? Like, everyone is like, you're American and you're from California. And then when
I think I definitely have an American accent these days.
Well,
personally.
I feel like people from BC,
Yeah.
let's just say Vancouver.
It's West Coast.
Because up north is a little bit more...
Yeah.
Canadian-y.
Yeah.
Right? But Vancouver is definitely very, like, everyone here sounds like they're from, like, Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So...
For sure.
So, yeah, that's, I guess, the Canadian accent. And then when I meet Americans when I'm abroad, they're always like, do the Canadian accent. I was like, I watch so much American media. Like, I cannot.
It's hard to... It's like, this is my accent.
Right.
And I'm Canadian. I don't know what else to say.
Right. Like, if I throw an A at the end of something just for the fun of it, they, like, go crazy.
Yeah,
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God, you
just
just
said
like...
A.
Yeah, just like...
You're so Canadian.
You know, another classic Canadian accent would be like, you ever seen Rick Mercer, the Rick Mercer report?
I think I've seen like some of it.
I think he's from, I don't want to say it wrong. He's from the East Coast though, like the Maritimes. Might be Halifax, maybe?
Ooh, that sounds...
I don't know.
You know what?
I feel like it's
Where is
maybe
he
not
from?
that. But...
St. John's.
Right.
Newfoundland.
He's from, yeah, so...
Ooh, he a Newfie.
Yeah, he's got... The Newfie accent is very classically Canadian as well.
No, okay, first of all, the Newfie accent sounds like an Irish accent.
Yeah, well, that's I think that was who originally settled the area.
Right,
so.
and then Nova Scotia is, like, a bit more Scottish.
Yeah.
Which is, like, so is it a Canadian accent, or is it, like...
It is a Canadian accent, I think, at this point. You know, it's its own thing. It's
not.
It's like divorced, I think, from its original roots. But yeah,
yeah, that was a lot of Canadian talk. Brady.
I know, eh?
Yeah, that was a lot. Also, another thing I'll say is like
sure.
Brady is such a white name.
Yeah, I think it has Irish origins.
Okay.
And yeah, it's pretty white. Actually, my family is very French Canadian, but I didn't end up with a French last name. I ended up with a super English last name because my, dad's dad was English, but his wife, like my grandmother, and then on my mom's side, like her maiden name is Bonifant, right? Which is like good child.
That sounds
en français.
That sounds very the francophones.
Yeah, and on my dad's side, it was Fernier. So.
Wow, and you just got good old Smith.
Yeah, basically Smith.
Yeah.
Nice. Super just like blah, white name, and then
because a lot of Asians that come to Canada, their parents will typically give them like white names. Right?
Yeah.
So I've met a lot of like Linda Lees or like Jennifer Cho's. I've never met
Jennifer. That's a okay.
Right? Oh, okay. There are like Asian.
Is it because they're all born in August? Can I say that?
Are they all Leos? Is that what it is?
Here's the thing. So my best friend is Cambodian. And,
okay.
She's like first generation born in Canada. Mm-hmm. So her parents were from Cambodia. And she told me the story of how she was named. And her parents literally went to the library one day and picked up a book of names, flipped to the month, and then was like, Jenny, that's the month. That's the name for the month. So we're going to name her Jenny. Jennifer. Jenny Lee.
Let's do that.
Jenny Lee. And then when her little sister was born, she was born in April. So they were like, we don't need to go to the library for this. It'll just be April.
Oh my God, I love it. Yeah. Okay, so that's actually not false. Like, Asian parents are so lazy. I actually heard, like, the same story. Like Asian parents will just go to, like, 100 popular baby names, and they'll just be like, like, Emily sounds good. All right, Emily Chan. Right? I've never met a Brady, like,
Yeah, my mom
Nguyen or
thought about
something.
it a lot.
You know what I mean? Like, that's such a white name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, there was a lot of the other thing. My mom likes sort of like unisex names as well. Or
that
things
is a guy's name.
Yeah. Brady's a unisex name, but it's definitely more commonly used for men. And yeah, there was like for my mom, it was a toss up between Brady and Stevie, because my mom loves Stevie Nicks. You know, so Stevie. I could have been Stevie.
Yeah. You know what?
Or Kennedy. That was another name.
Or Frankie.
No, it couldn't have been Frankie. I mean, those were the 3 names that my mom was into. Frankie. My, yeah, I'm trying to think. What was I? Frankie? I feel like there was a Frankie in my family somewhere.
Yeah. It's a unisex name.
It's a good name.
Yeah,
I like Frankie.
I like that name.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to all the Frankie Chans, Taylor Choi's, what are other
Jennifer, Kevin.
Okay, but I'm talking only like white names that like I've never met people with that Asian last name. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Like Riley Lee. Like I've never met a Riley.
Oh, okay.
Lee,
I thought you were talking about all the popular.
No, I've met like 20 Kevin.
Yeah,
Kims.
exactly.
Yeah,
That's
like,
what I'm saying.
Like
every Asian
is like a
Kevin.
Kevin. You know, there's like a
or
Kevin
Daniel.
Chan Lee or Daniel Nguyen.
Daniel's a big one.
No, so shout out to all the Brady Nguyen's out
all
there.
the Brady Lees.
Brady Lees, if they exist.
Oh, man.
Yeah, you matter. You
exist.
You exist somewhere. I don't know.
Hit me up, Brady Lee.
Brady Lee. Okay, well, thank you, Brady, for being on my podcast talking about Asian Canadian
welcome.
and white Canadians.
I had a question for you, though.
Oh.
Is it too late? Can I ask you the question?
Okay, let me check the clock. Okay, I guess we have some time. Okay, we have one question.
Time for one more question. Okay, so as I was saying, my good friend Jenny's Cambodian, and she told me, I was telling you earlier, off mic, that I had gone through like a large weight loss.
Oh yeah! Congratulations, by the way.
Yes,
you look like a Victoria's Secret model.
Oh my God, no, I don't. But maybe if the Victoria's Secret model like loved chips and salsa, and
and like had a sense of humor.
I'm sure some of them do.
Yeah, right.
But so she was saying how in her family, she was like really like shamed for, her weight and the way that she ate, and just like any, like if she was like not even like even in a completely healthy weight range, like not, but whatever, I guess, just different ideals as far as like what chubby would be or what thin would be. Like,
right.
Did you ever like have problems with your parents like weight shaming you? I will say, I'll preface by saying that, my mom never did, but I definitely got some, like, my dad, he had the best intentions, but definitely made me aware of things at some points.
He's like, put down the fork, Brady.
Like
you've
not
had
exactly
enough.
like that, but just grabbing at my rolls or talking about my chub.
So if you're asking me if Asian parents or I guess moms specifically are more like strict,
that's what I've heard that as well. That
okay.
Her mom was really on her. For her weight.
How do I say this like in a light way? It's just like Asian moms want their Asian daughters to be like stick skinny or dead.
Oh.
So it's like there's no in between. It's just like, why are you so fat and ugly? No man will ever marry you.
That's so savage.
Men hate fat women.
Whoa, which isn't true. Not true.
Well, it's like kind of true.
Not true.
Okay,
maybe with Asian men, maybe. Do Asian men hate fat
Asian
women?
men are okay. So I would say the thing with Asian men is like their standards for women, I would say, are a lot higher than I would say white men. I feel like white men are a lot more forgiving when it comes to looks. Yeah, this might be a blanket statement. Like, white men with, like, high standards, please don't yell at me. But if you're a white man, you're probably also not listening to this. So when, like, my Asian mom and also, like, my Asian friends and their moms, they were very, like, you have to be stick skin. Otherwise, you will never get married. No one will ever look at you. You're hideous and atrocious. So this isn't even, I'm not even being, like, I'm not even exaggerating. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
this,
like,
this is normal. Like, I had a Chinese friend born and raised here. Her mom would force her to take diet pills, like literally open her mouth and shove it down her throat at the age of 13.
That's whack. That is so whack.
So this is like
was she struggling with her weight at that point?
She was like a little bit chubby, but it was like she wasn't like huge. She was just chubby. But in Asian culture, like, you gotta be like stick thin. Like have you seen what those like Korean pop stars look like? Like, you gotta be like
quite
that.
Small.
Yeah, like basically you just gotta be like under like 50 kilograms, which is like under like 100 pounds or something, regardless of your height. Right? It's super crazy. And but pretty much that's normal. Like I don't know, being like born and raised here, like, of course not every single Asian Canadian girl was skinny. The ones that weren't, just I guess like just like told their parents to fuck off or something. But no, it is a very high standard, and parents care so much pressure, right?
But mostly your mom.
Definitely the
like
mom.
your dad didn't.
Okay, so the thing with my dad is like this
have
is
so many.
Okay, that's interesting, because what I think, and I don't know if this is true, but I think Asian dads are kind of okay with their daughters being fat because they just don't want their daughters to get married. You know what I mean? So it's almost like a conflict of interest if their daughters were pretty, because they're men, they know how
men are.
How men are, exactly.
But
right?
see, I don't know, being a young, fat, white woman, you know, didn't have, I mean, I never had problems with men, like, finding me attractive.
But were you dating mostly white men, right?
Yeah, like, I mean, I guess I just never really, I mean, I had, like, Asian male friends, I would say, wouldn't tell me that there was anything wrong with me necessarily, but it's just an interesting dynamic, I guess. Because I feel like, you know, like, when you're as, like, overweight as I was in general, you know, like, people have opinions about it. Maybe they'll say it to you, maybe they won't. But yeah, it's just interesting to see, like, the difference for, like, you know, parenting stuff.
Totally.
Like I said, my dad was, you know, a little more careless, and, like, he didn't really care so much about, he just wanted to, I think, make me aware for some reason. I think maybe because he wanted me to, like, lose the weight.
Right.
So he was, like, kind of just, he would, like, pinch at my rolls or, like, whatever, just talk about my chubby whatever's cheeks or rolls or whatever. And then, you know, my mom was quite the opposite, you know. It was like, your weight doesn't matter, you're beautiful, you're worth it, you know, like, you know, you're gonna find the right guy. And I never really felt like I had problems with it. I just don't think that all men hate fat women. That's not. All right, I'm gonna say that for the men. Not for the men all men out there who love all the chubby chasers out there.
Thank you, Brady. Yeah, no.
On your side, chubby chasers.
Oh my God. Is that even PC? Chubby chaser? None of this is PC. Why am I asking? It doesn't matter.
True. Wait, but what about men? Are there weight standards for
my
Asian
God,
men?
no. Oh my God, no.
Okay.
Not at all. So are you kidding?
Asian men can be fat, and it's
Asian
cool.
men can totally be fat. Like, of course.
As long as they make money. Is that the thing?
Oh my God, if you make money, you can be whatever you want to be.
You can be fat and pizza.
Oh my God, I've seen,
and, like, and, like, short and, like.
Oh, totally. I've seen so many ugly, fat Asian men with super
rat tail,
gorgeous, skinny Asian women.
Oh wow.
So normal. Yeah. Yeah, but I don't know. I think like similar to, like, Western culture, there is, I feel like, just more pressure on women. Like, I feel like it is changing and stuff like that. But in Asian culture, like, the pressure on women is, like, added, like, on top of the Asian pressure that already exists.
Like, more.
So
even.
It's like, you're, like, under a microscope. But, you know, growing up in Canada, I feel like it was less. Because when I went to Vietnam, I was like, oh, the Asian women here, like, look like dolls. Like, in Korea and Vietnam, they just always, like, makeup, hair, heels, everything.
Now, can I ask you, with my body type, would I be fat as an Asian woman?
Well, you're a Victoria, like, supermodel.
That's not true.
But in Asian culture,
I would be fat,
you would
right?
be a little bit fat.
I'd be chubby, for sure.
But Brady's
and I
totally
understand that. I'm not saying
supermodel.
I don't. Obviously, I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not fat.
Yeah, no, you're not fat.
An Asian woman at my weight would not be fat.
No,
but by standards
in Asian culture,
the community, because I'm not.
You'd wear
bones.
You'd wear size large, or they wouldn't have your size.
Yeah,
yeah,
right. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
Wild.
Yeah. Anyways, men don't all hate fat women. I don't want to end on that note, but yeah, it was great having you, Brady. I feel like we talked a lot. I feel like
we went places.
Yeah, like we both found out that. Well, I guess we didn't really find out. We like always knew that Jingle All the Way is the best Christmas movie
that
of all
was
time.
I think the
the highlight, right? Like can't wait to go home and watch that again. But
let's put it on.
Yeah,
let's do that right now.
Okay, let's end it off. Ding ding ding.
Pass the poutine.
This is the poutine.
Fries, cheese curds, and chicken gravy.
That's the poutine.